You've felt it lately, haven't you? The strange heaviness that sits in your chest for no clear reason. The conversations that used to feel warm suddenly fade into silence. The people you once felt connected to seem distant, distracted, or gone altogether. There's a restlessness in your spirit that you can't explain, like something deep within you is shifting, stirring, awakening. Nights feel longer, thoughts louder, and even moments of peace seem to tremble under the weight of something unseen. It's not anxiety, not coincidence, not fatigue. It's a summons. You feel it pressing against the edges of your ordinary life, the gentle but unrelenting pressure that tells you something is coming. You've tried to drown it in routine, to silence it with busyness, but it lingers. You sense that something in your timeline has been interrupted, that heaven itself has reached into your schedule and rearranged it without asking permission. You can't focus like before. The things that once satisfied you no longer do. You've noticed it, the loss of appetite for meaningless talk, the craving for quiet, the hunger for clarity. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. But for what? This is where the interruption begins. It doesn't arrive with trumpets or visions, it starts with discomfort, the kind that refuses to be ignored. It's the whisper that follows you into every room, the gentle question that will not let you rest. Is there something more you're meant to do? You feel doors closing, not because you failed, but because heaven is protecting you from detours. Relationships that no longer align with your growth are dissolving. Habits that no longer serve your purpose are being stripped away. And though it feels like loss, it's actually positioning. Every delay, every unexpected ending, every silent season, it's all divine choreography. There is a reason the rhythm of your life has been disrupted. The world has been moving too fast around you, and heaven had to pause your path so you wouldn't miss the moment written for you. This is not the time to run from what you feel. It is time to lean in. Listen, because this is where the divine interruption happens. Not in lightning, but in longing. Not in noise, but in the narrowing of focus. When everything around you starts losing color, it's because heaven wants your eyes on something brighter. You might think you're losing control, but in truth, God is removing what no longer fits the calling that's about to unfold. The unease is sacred. The restlessness is divine. The pressure is not punishment, it's the signature of transformation. Heaven interrupts what you thought was stability so you can discover destiny. You were never meant to stay comfortable. You were meant to move with divine purpose. And that purpose begins in moments like this, when the world around you feels uncertain and the voice within you grows louder. There are times when God doesn't speak through miracles or dreams, but through symptoms. When He wants your attention, He touches the areas of your life that can no longer hold the weight of His plan. That's why things are shifting. That's why people are leaving. That's why silence feels louder. He's not trying to break you. He's trying to break you open. The path forward won't make sense at first. You'll be tempted to go back to what's familiar. You'll tell yourself maybe it's just a phase, just emotion. But deep down, you know this is different. Something is moving, calling, realigning you towards something eternal. You are standing at the threshold of a season that demands awareness. The signs are not random. The spiritual atmosphere around you is thick with movement, and heaven is whispering a word that will soon become a command. But for now, He's asking for your attention. Don't rush this moment. Don't numb it away. This interruption is sacred ground. Take a breath. Close your eyes. The noise of the world will try to drown this whisper, but those who truly hear will recognize the pattern, how God always begins with disruption before revelation. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalm, chapter 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. If you've been feeling this strange mixture of loss, longing, and awakening, it's not the end. It's the beginning of something holy. Don't scroll past this moment. This is your confirmation that what's happening inside you is not madness, it's movement, a divine realignment. Heaven is calling for your awareness. If this message resonates with the pulse in your spirit, take a breath and lift your eyes for a second. The world may not understand what's happening to you, but heaven does. You are seen. You are known. You are in transition from what was to what must be. Now pause here. Don't rush. Let these words settle. If you feel the stirring, acknowledge it. Comment below with the number 777 as a prophetic act that you recognize the shift and are ready to step into divine awareness. Like, share, subscribe, and if this message speaks to your soul, consider sowing into the word through your donation. It's not just support, it's partnership with purpose. Heaven moves when faith moves. This is the beginning. You've carried wounds that few have seen. Not all scars bleed on the surface, some hide behind laughter, behind silence. The world taught you to cover them, to smile through the pain, to keep moving as if nothing happened. But heaven sees the hidden ache. The nights you whispered prayers no one heard. Those weren't wasted tears, they were seeds, each drop a sign that something sacred was forming in the dark. Now the time has come to transform what once hurt you into the very mark that proves you've survived. This is where pain turns into purpose. Your story is a sacred manuscript written in scars. Every rejection became initiation. Every heartbreak, a refining fire. Every loss taught you endurance that comfort never could. What tried to destroy you was secretly molding strength within you. So do not hide the evidence of your struggle. Don't erase the past as though it disqualifies you. What if the wound was never meant to be erased but to be transfigured? What if the scar becomes your signature, heaven's mark that you pass through fire and still shine? As the apostle wrote in the second letter to Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. God was never glorifying pain. He was glorifying what happens when you allow Him to transform it. The cracks in your life became the openings where His light could pour through. You were not randomly broken, you were deliberately rebuilt. There is a power in your pain that darkness fears. Here's your practice. Take your pain and rename it. No longer failure, but formation. No longer rejection, but redirection. No longer loss, but launching. Each time the memory returns, speak over it new meaning. This hurt became my anointing. Next, write it down. Take a quiet moment to list what wounded you, not to dwell on it, but to name it. When you name pain, you reclaim authority. Then write what you learned beside it. Each lesson is a diamond pulled from pressure. Each revelation a beam of light drawn from darkness. This is how chosen souls heal, not by pretending pain never happened, but by allowing God to repurpose it. Healing doesn't erase your story, it edits it into glory. Look back now with gratitude instead of grief. Thank God that even betrayal pushed you toward clarity, that even loss made you lighter for what's next. Every scar on your soul is proof of divine investment. God trusted you with pain because He knew you would not waste it. You will one day use it to heal others who bleed like you once did. Maybe you thought your story disqualified you. It doesn't, it qualifies you. Heaven anoints those who have walked through valleys, not those who've studied them from a distance. When you speak now, you speak from authenticity. That's what breaks chains, not polished words, but real testimony. Now take this practice deeper. Choose one painful memory. Sit in silence for a few minutes and invite divine presence into it. Whisper, "This no longer defines me, it refines me." Feel the shift. Feel strength returning. Your pain only becomes poison when you hide it. Expose it to light, and it becomes oil that anoints, heals, empowers. The same pain that once weakened you can now strengthen others through your compassion and resilience. When you share your scars, you give others permission to heal. What once made you ashamed now becomes your crown. The more transparent you are about what tried to break you, the more heaven empowers you to rebuild others. Transparency becomes weaponry, so don't fear the memory of what happened. Look it in the eye and say, "Thank you for making me unbreakable." Every storm shaped the architecture of your soul. Every ending trained your spirit for beginnings. Every lonely moment became a sacred classroom. You were never abandoned. You were being rebuilt in divine isolation. Now sanctify what happened. Turn it into wisdom, compassion, authority. Your story will become medicine for someone else's wound. That is divine economy, nothing wasted. Everything redeemed. When you begin to see scars not as curses but credentials, everything changes, the weight lifts. The question, "Why me?" turns into "Thank you for trusting me." You rise from your memories not as a victim, but as a vessel. You carry history heaven has touched. Your hands can now heal because they've known pain. Your voice can now comfort because it has trembled before. Your heart can now love deeper because it has been broken and remade. Today, practice this transformation. Write gratitude where there once was grief. Speak blessing where there once was bitterness. Stand before your reflection and declare, "I am not defined by what hurt me. I am defined by what I've overcome." Your past was the classroom. Your pain was the lesson. Your survival is the proof. Now let your healing become light for others still in the dark. You've learned how to face the pain. Now comes the next battle, obedience. Not the kind that's easy, the kind that costs something. You can feel it in the pull between what you want and what heaven is asking. This is the invisible weight pressing against your heart. You know the whisper. Let go of this. Walk away from that. Speak when it's uncomfortable. Stay silent when you want to shout. Every instruction from above seems small, yet carries eternal weight. You are standing in the delicate place between desire and destiny. It's where obedience either unlocks the next level or delays the promise. Many have prayed for clarity, but few are ready to act when clarity arrives. That is the true test. Heaven isn't testing your strength, it's testing your surrender. Because power flows through yielded hands, not clenched fists. And obedience, real obedience, isn't a feeling. It's action born from faith, even when logic screams. "This doesn't make sense," faith whispers. But God said so. The Spirit still speaks through ancient words in the first book of Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. That verse cuts deep, doesn't it? Because sacrifice can be performed without heart, but obedience always reveals the heart. You can give offerings, attend services, quote verses, but obedience is where your faith becomes flesh. It's where you stop negotiating with God and start trusting Him completely. And here's where it gets practical. Obedience is not always grand. Sometimes it's a whisper, a quiet yes when no one is watching. It might be forgiving the one who doesn't deserve it. It might be deleting the number that keeps pulling you backward. It might be stepping out when fear tells you to stay still. Small obediences create divine momentum. When you obey the small instructions, heaven entrusts you with greater authority. Every yes builds spiritual muscle. Every act of surrender shapes destiny. If you've been feeling pressure lately, that's because the instruction is close. God always increases the tension before a new command is revealed. The longer you resist, the heavier it feels. But once you move, peace floods in like a river. The peace that confirms you finally aligned with heaven's timing. This is your reminder: delayed obedience is still disobedience. Heaven does not move at the speed of your comfort, but at the rhythm of your calling. The moment you say yes, even trembling, even unsure, the entire atmosphere begins to shift. Here's how to practice obedience in real time. Pause. When you sense the pull to act or refrain, stop everything. Listen, don't rush the moment. Discern, ask, does this lead me closer to peace or to pride? True instructions from heaven bring clarity, not confusion. Respond, act swiftly without overthinking. Faith delays become doubt in disguise. Reflect. After obeying, notice the inner stillness that follows. That stillness is heaven's signature of approval. Obedience builds alignment, and alignment builds acceleration. Some blessings don't need more prayer, they need more obedience. There's a hidden power that unfolds when you finally say yes. The universe seems to move around your feet. The right people appear, the right doors open. It's not coincidence. It's divine orchestration waiting on your obedience to begin the song. And yet, the human heart struggles, because obedience often requires loss. Sometimes saying yes to God means saying goodbye to comfort, to control, to approval. But remember, God never takes something from you unless He intends to replace it with something eternal. Every surrender writes a new chapter in your story of strength. When God told Abraham to move without a map, he obeyed. When Noah was told to build before the rain, he obeyed. When Peter was told to step out on water, he obeyed. Every act of obedience birthed history. The same principle applies to you now. Heaven is watching your next move. You may not understand the why today, but you'll see the wow tomorrow. Obedience never leaves you empty, it leaves you prepared. The test you face now is not about punishment. It's about positioning. And if your heart trembles as you stand between comfort and calling, remember this truth: courage isn't the absence of fear. It's obedience in spite of it. The trembling yes is still a yes. Heaven honors it just the same. So take this moment seriously. Look at the areas where God has been whispering. Maybe it's an old habit you've been protecting. Maybe it's a step of faith you've been postponing. You already know what needs to change. The final test is simple but sacred. Will you obey? Your future is waiting on that answer. Not next week, not next year. Now, the moment you align, everything waiting for you begins to move in your direction. And as you read these words, let a simple confession rise from within. Type it below, not just as a comment, but as a covenant. Comment, I will obey. Say it, type it, declare it, because it's not just interaction, it's activation. When you speak obedience, you invite divine order into your atmosphere. Your words become a bridge between instruction and manifestation. Every act of obedience becomes a brick in the path that leads to your promise. Every yes echoes louder than any prayer of hesitation. This is your moment to prove that faith isn't what you say, it's what you do when God speaks. The test is before you, but grace stands beside you. Heaven is ready to move. The question remains, are you? You've felt the pressure building. Some days it's not external, it's spiritual. It's not people resisting you. It's forces unseen, trying to exhaust your energy before you rise into purpose. Every delay, every distraction, every sudden wave of confusion, it's not random. There's a war happening in the unseen realm, and you're standing right in the middle of it. The tension you feel is not weakness. It's confirmation that you're on sacred ground. Darkness never fights what doesn't threaten it. That's why lately, everything has tried to drain you, your focus, your joy, your peace. You've been feeling spiritually heavy because the invisible world recognizes what you carry. The voice of God thundered in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That verse isn't a warning, it's an awakening. You've been targeted because you carry light, and light always exposes what hides in shadow. The resistance around you isn't proof of failure, it's evidence of calling. Heaven wouldn't allow this battle if there wasn't something priceless on the other side. You've noticed it, moments of clarity followed by chaos, bursts of hope suddenly drowned by fatigue. That's spiritual warfare disguised as coincidence. The enemy cannot stop what God has spoken, but he will try to wear you down until you stop believing it yourself. That's why this season feels so heavy. You're not just tired, you're being tested. But hear this, the test isn't meant to break you, it's meant to train you. You're being conditioned to fight not with fear, but with faith. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, you win. Every time you refuse to speak negativity over your future, you win. Every time you pray instead of complain, you win. You might think you're under attack, but in truth, you're under construction. Heaven is fortifying you for what's coming next. You can't carry divine glory with a fragile spirit. That's why pressure comes before promotion. Guard your atmosphere. Choose silence over noise. Protect what enters through your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Not every voice deserves access to your spirit. Strengthen your inner life daily. Read, pray, speak life over yourself. Faith is like muscle. It only grows when it's used. Rest when you need to. Rest is not surrender, it's strategy. Even warriors need to recharge. God created stillness as a weapon disguised as peace. Keep your focus forward. Distraction is the enemy's favorite tool. When your attention drifts, so does your anointing. Stay locked on purpose, because every delay is a decoy. Every unexpected opposition is an attempt to make you question what God said. But you've already been equipped with authority. Heaven didn't send you into battle unarmed, it gave you discernment, courage, and divine protection. You just have to remember who you are and whose you are. When confusion rises, declare peace. When fear whispers, answer with truth. When temptation calls, answer with purpose. Your discipline is your defense. The battlefield isn't around you, it's within you. Victory begins in the mind before it manifests in life. Understand this, not every conflict is meant to be fought outwardly. Some battles are won in silence, on your knees, in prayer that no one else hears. The loudest victories often happen in the quiet surrender of faith. You've been asking God, why am I under so much pressure? And heaven replies, because what's coming requires strength you haven't built yet. You are in training for a greater assignment. The weight you carry today is the evidence of promotion preparing to manifest tomorrow. So when warfare comes, don't panic. Smile, because even the enemy's attacks are being turned into fuel for your growth. Every arrow sent against you becomes material for your next testimony. And remember, not everything falling apart is the enemy. Sometimes God Himself dismantles what was never meant to last. Don't cling to what heaven is tearing down. Let it go, and peace will return. This battle is not against people. It's not against your boss, your family, or your past. It's spiritual, strategic, and temporary. And because you belong to light, darkness cannot win. The storms that tried to break you are now revealing your foundation. You've been shaken but not shattered, pressed but not crushed, tested but not taken. That's the proof that heaven's hand is still over you. Your victory doesn't come from fighting harder, it comes from standing firmer. Refuse to bow to fear, refuse to surrender your peace, and refuse to forget that you are backed by all of heaven's authority. As you stand in this unseen war, lift your head high. The same God who guided Moses through the sea, Daniel through the lions, and David through Goliath is the same God guiding you now. You may feel surrounded, but in truth you are covered. This is not your downfall, it's your awakening. The warfare around you is confirmation that you're crossing into purpose. Keep your faith steady. Keep your worship alive. The darkness around you trembles because it knows you've begun to recognize your authority. If you've been feeling the weight, the resistance, the invisible pushback, this is your confirmation you're not losing ground. You're gaining it. Now, as a prophetic act, declare your awareness. Comment below with the number 555, a symbol of divine change and breakthrough. When you type it, you're declaring, I stand firm through the storm. Do it not for attention, but for activation. Because every act of faith, even as small as typing a number, is a signal to heaven that you're still in position. The battle may be invisible, but so is your victory. Keep standing. Keep shining. Heaven is counting on you to hold the line until the dawn breaks. You've walked through storms that few could survive. You've endured loss, pressure, and warfare, and yet here you are, still standing. But what if the breaking wasn't meant to end you? What if the breaking was the doorway to becoming? There are moments when God doesn't rebuild what broke, He builds you instead. It's easy to see brokenness as failure, but heaven calls it refinement. Like clay in the potter's hand, you've been pressed, spun, reshaped, and sometimes shattered. Not because you were defective, but because the shape you once carried couldn't contain the next anointing. To the naked eye, it looked like destruction. To heaven, it was design. We are reminded through the ancient words recorded in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Think about gold. Before it shines, it must endure fire. The fire doesn't destroy the gold, it reveals its purity. Or think of the seed. Before it grows, it's buried in darkness. The burial isn't death, it's transformation. What looks like loss from the surface is actually life in disguise. That's where you are now, in the sacred in-between, where what you were is gone, and what you will be hasn't yet appeared. It's uncomfortable. Yes, but it's divine. The breaking before the becoming. You're learning that growth often sounds like silence. You pray, and heaven seems quiet. You step forward, and nothing moves. But what if the quiet isn't absence? What if it's preparation? The soil doesn't make noise when a seed grows. Your silence doesn't mean nothing's happening, it means roots are forming. There's a strange beauty in being broken open. Because once something is broken, light can finally reach its core. Maybe that's what God has been doing, cracking the shell you built around your heart so His light can get in. And here's something sacred: your healing doesn't just belong to you. The lessons you've learned in pain become medicine for someone else's wound. The comfort you receive now will one day flow through your voice, your hands, your presence. The same fire that once burned you will one day become the warmth that revives others. So if you feel like everything you built has fallen apart, look closer, it might just be falling into place. The tower of self is crumbling so the temple of purpose can rise. Don't despise the breaking. Every time you've been pressed, you've been purified. Every time you've been misunderstood, you've been matured. Every time you've been isolated, you've been invited to deeper intimacy with God. When the breaking began, you asked, "Why me but now?" Heaven whispers, "Because I can trust you." You've carried burdens that would have crushed others, yet you still chose light. That's not weakness, that's divine strength. Let your pain become poetry. Let your tears water the next generation's hope. Let the cracks in your soul become windows for others to see God's glory through you. Nothing is wasted, not one heartbreak, not one disappointment, not one unanswered prayer. Everything has been repurposed for destiny. And as you rise from the ashes, let gratitude guide your next step. If this message touches something deep within you, if you feel seen, reminded, or strengthened, then pause here and honor that connection. Like this message if it speaks to your spirit, not for vanity, but as a sign to heaven that you recognize this word was for you. When you share it, you become a bridge for someone else who is quietly breaking. You never know whose midnight might turn into morning because you chose to pass light forward. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this journey isn't a one-time spark, it's a fire that needs tending. Each message builds upon the last, each word carving clarity into your calling. And if your heart feels led, consider sowing into the very soil that's feeding your faith. Not because of obligation, but because generosity keeps the river flowing. When you pour into what pours into you, heaven multiplies it back in ways no algorithm ever could. Your support, your engagement, your presence, it's not about numbers, it's about alignment. It says, "I choose to stay connected to the flow that strengthens my soul." Think of it like tending a flame. Every like is a breath of oxygen. Every share is a spark passed into another soul's darkness. Every act of generosity is wood added to the fire that keeps this light burning across the world. Together, we're not just watching, we're building altars of hope in digital spaces. So don't just scroll past, participate. Your interaction isn't noise, it's agreement. Agreement that your story matters, that your breaking has meaning, that your becoming is already underway. As you breathe these final words in, know this: God wastes nothing. The breaking is never the end, it's the sound of your destiny unfolding. The pressure you feel is proof that heaven is molding you into something unshakable. Stay still, stay soft, stay open. The potter hasn't finished yet. What feels like fragments now will soon be formed into something radiant, something that carries both the beauty of grace and the strength of survival. And when that moment comes, when you finally see the masterpiece emerging from the pieces, you'll understand why everything had to break first. You've walked through the breaking, through the silence, through the refining fire, and still, the voice in the wilderness calls your name. You feel it echoing in your spirit. Come closer, come deeper. This is the season where heaven trains you not through blessings, but through stillness, where the wilderness is no longer punishment, but preparation. When life feels empty, when the voices fade, when even prayer seems unanswered, don't mistake the silence for abandonment. In the wilderness, God speaks differently. He doesn't shout over noise, he whispers through stillness. The same God who led Israel by a cloud in the day and fire at night is guiding you through unseen signs, shaping your faith in the shadows. The voice in the wilderness is not meant to frighten you, it's meant to focus you. It strips away distractions so you can hear what truly matters. When you're surrounded by nothing, you finally recognize that God has been everything all along. As written in the book of Mark, chapter 1, verse 3. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his paths straight." The wilderness is your divine classroom. The lessons taught here cannot be learned in comfort. Here, faith becomes muscle and trust becomes instinct. This is where you learn to stand on promises, not on proof. where prayer shifts from performance to presence. But the wilderness demands participation. It's not just a place to survive, it's a place to practice. The call of this section is simple. Stop waiting for peace to come to you. Start practicing peace where you are. Here's how you walk through this wilderness and turn it into holy ground. First, practice silence with intention. Each day, take 5 minutes, no music, no phone, no distraction, just breathe. Don't fill the silence, let it fill you. Stillness is not absence, it's alignment. In that space, whisper simple words. I'm listening, Lord. Let your heart quiet until the noise within starts to obey the rhythm of heaven. Second, practice listening beyond words. Pay attention to what stirs your spirit, not just your mind. God speaks through impressions, through timing, through peace that doesn't make sense. Write down the nudges that repeat themselves. Patterns reveal purpose. Third, practice gratitude in the dry places. Say thank you not just for what you have, but for what's forming. Gratitude in the wilderness is warfare, it confuses darkness. Every thank you speak in uncertainty becomes a seed of faith that heaven waters. Fourth, practice faith through small obedience. The wilderness is where instructions come one step at a time. Don't wait for the full map. Move with the peace you've been given. If the whisper says, call them, forgive them, start again, then do it. Each act of obedience is a stone on the path that leads you out. Fifth, practice release. The wilderness exposes attachments. When something or someone fades away, don't chase what God is cutting loose. The wilderness teaches that letting go is holy. It's not loss, it's lightening your load for destiny. This is also where identity solidifies. In crowds, you can forget who you are. In solitude, you rediscover it. That's why Jesus himself was led into the wilderness before his ministry began. Power always follows preparation. Though as you stand in your own wilderness, now stop asking, when will this end? Start asking, what am I meant to learn here? Every delay holds a lesson, and every lesson prepares you for the promise. You're learning resilience, patience, faith, and spiritual focus. You're learning to build altars, not stages, to seek presence, not performance. Now, take this moment to practice what you've just read. After you finish this message, find a quiet corner. Breathe deeply. Release the need to fix everything. Whisper this prayer even here. You are God. Let those words sink into your bones. Let the wilderness turn into worship. And when the voice of fear rises, remember it's just an echo, not authority. Speak louder with faith. Declare that you will not die in this place. You will grow in this place. The wilderness is not your grave, it's your garden. Seeds are sprouting underground where your eyes can't see. Every spiritual giant you've read about had a wilderness. Moses had one. Elijah had one. Even Jesus had one. The wilderness is where divine power is tested, proven, and purified. And now, it's your turn. If this message resonates, if you feel the call to practice what you've heard, do it today. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Transformation begins when you take the first step in faith. And as a sign of your willingness, write it below, in faith I'm listening. That's all, just those 2 words. It's not for me, it's for heaven. It's your signal that you're ready to hear again, ready to respond, ready to turn your wilderness into worship. The silence that once felt suffocating will soon feel sacred. The isolation that once felt empty will soon feel holy. You'll begin to realize that this quiet place wasn't punishment, it was invitation. Invitation to slow down, to listen deeply, to prepare the way within yourself for what God is about to do through you. So step forward, slowly but surely. Walk this wilderness like a sacred trail. Every breath you take here is a prayer. Every silence is a seed. Every act of trust is a triumph. And when you finally walk out of this place, you'll carry something no crowd could ever give you: clarity, peace, and authority born in the quiet. You're not lost, you're being led. You've crossed through the silence. You've faced the stillness. You've learned to breathe in the wilderness. But now comes the unveiling, the moment where the true test stands before you. For everything you've walked through has been leading to this, the final test revealed. It's not a test of strength or knowledge. It's not about how much scripture you can quote or how many storms you've survived. It's about one question that heaven asks every soul at the turning point of destiny: will you surrender completely? The real test isn't about enemies or circumstances, it's about your heart. It's about whether you can lay down your will when every part of you wants to take control. It's about whether you can trust God when His instructions seem impossible. It's about whether you can say, yes, even now. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 22, verse 42, "Not my will, but yours be done." Those words are not gentle, they are revolutionary. They were spoken by Jesus on the night when obedience cost Him everything. That single sentence split history in two. It was not a prayer of weakness, it was the cry of ultimate strength. Surrender is not defeat, it's divine alignment. When you stop fighting for control, you make space for heaven to move. The final test isn't about proving your worth, it's about proving your trust. There's something sacred about this stage of your journey. You've already endured the shaking, the silence, the breaking. You've learned to stand when others fell. But now God is asking for the one thing you've kept guarded, the piece of your life you still try to manage on your own. It might be fear, a dream, a relationship, a plan. Whatever it is, you already know what it is. Heaven always points to it quietly. And that's what makes this test so difficult. Because surrender feels like loss. It feels like stepping into uncertainty with your hands empty. But it's actually the gateway to fullness. Only when your hands are open can they receive. The final test comes softly, disguised as choice. It arrives in moments when no one is watching. It looks like letting go of control, forgiving without closure, trusting when the outcome is unclear. It's the small internal yes that opens great external doors. It doesn't come once, it keeps returning, layer after layer. Every new level of purpose demands a new level of surrender. Each season of growth begins with a release. Every divine promotion begins with a letting go. And though the surrender feels heavy, there's freedom inside it. You'll find that what you lose in control, you gain in peace. What you release in fear, you receive back multiplied in purpose. That's how heaven works. It never takes without restoring. When you say, "Not my will, but yours," you step into a flow of divine timing that no human force can interrupt. Suddenly, you'll find things aligning effortlessly. What once required striving begins to happen naturally. The pressure lifts, not because the situation changed, but because your posture did. There's a peace that only exists on the other side of surrender. It's not the absence of storms, it's the confidence that even in the storm, you're being carried. This test is deeply personal. It won't look the same for everyone. For some, it's walking away from what's comfortable. For others, it's staying still when everything inside wants to run. For some, it's releasing control over the future. For others, it's forgiving themselves for what they can't undo. But no matter the form it takes, it always comes back to this: will you trust God completely, even when you don't understand? When you pass this test, something shifts. Heaven begins to reveal what was hidden all along. Peace begins to replace panic. Stillness begins to replace striving. and what once looked impossible suddenly begins to take shape. There's beauty in this surrender. It's the moment where you stop building your own kingdom and start participating in God's. You realize that all along, you weren't losing your life, you were finding it. The final test isn't a punishment, it's an invitation. An invitation to enter into the kind of trust that cannot be shaken. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. The kind of love that doesn't break when tested. If you've ever wondered why things didn't move sooner, why the promise felt delayed, it's because heaven waits for this surrender. God won't rush the process of a heart being reshaped. He's not interested in performance, he's after partnership. And when he finally hears that quiet, trembling yes rising from within you, heaven moves instantly. The waiting ends, the doors open, the peace arrives. Because the moment you let go, heaven takes hold. So let this section be a mirror, not a message. Look at the places where you still cling tightly and ask yourself, can I trust God here too? That's the final test, not to fix, not to fight, but to fully trust. No audience will see it, no applause will follow it, but heaven will record it as your moment of divine agreement. And when you pass this test, you'll understand something powerful. Surrender doesn't weaken you, it crowns you. It's the hidden key that unlocks every closed door. It's the quiet act that turns ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies. There comes a moment when time slows down and you realize that hesitation has a cost. The hour of decision is not tomorrow, it's now. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet urgency deep inside, the awareness that life is shifting again, that heaven is waiting for your response. You've heard the call, you've felt the stirring, you've stood at them. You've walked through the fire of surrender. And now, you stand at the threshold between what was and what will be. This is the hour when destiny demands a choice. The voice of truth echoes from ancient scripture through the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15. Choose you this day whom ye will serve. That verse isn't just history, it's prophecy. The same decision that faced Joshua stands before you now. Not about religion, but allegiance. Not about performance, but direction. Whose voice will you follow? Which path will you walk? The hour of decision feels heavy because it is holy. It's the moment heaven watches to see what you truly believe. Not with your word, but with your willingness. You've stood in hesitation before, between doubt and faith, fear and obedience. You know that inner tension, that pull between what feels safe and what feels right. The longer you linger, the heavier it becomes. But when you step, something shifts. The weight of delay lifts, and the wind of destiny begins to move. This is not just a call to choose, it's a call to align, to bring every fragmented piece of your heart under one clear decision. I will follow truth no matter the cost. You can't live in the valley of indecision forever. The middle ground grows toxic when you stay there too long. You begin to lose clarity, conviction, courage. God is not the author of confusion. He is the guide of courage. You've already been prepared for this. Every trial has trained your discernment. Every disappointment has sharpened your understanding. You've been equipped for this very hour, even if you don't feel ready. That trembling you sense inside is not weakness, it's the sound of spiritual birth. The choice before you is not between comfort and pain. It's between purpose and paralysis. One leads to transformation, the other leads to slow decay. And heaven is whispering, don't waste this moment. Decide. When you decide, you draw a line in the sand. You stop negotiating with fear. You stop apologizing for obedience. You stop pretending that mediocrity can satisfy your divine hunger. The moment you decide, angels move. Doors that resisted suddenly open. Clarity that was blurred becomes sharp, because heaven always backs a heart that finally chooses truth. You don't have to see the whole path, just the first step. The rest unfolds as you move. God never demanded perfection. He asked for participation, and participation begins with decision. Right now, the weight of heaven is leaning toward your yes. Don't let the past anchor you. Don't let fear silence you. The next season of your life depends on the decision you make today. Think of it like standing on a bridge at sunrise. Behind you is what's familiar, safe, but stagnant. Ahead of you is the unknown, risky, but radiant. You can't see all the way across, but you can see enough light to take the first step. And that's all faith ever needs, just enough light for now. If your spirit has been restless, it's because indecision breeds exhaustion. You're tired not from doing too much, but from standing still too long. The fatigue you feel isn't failure, it's friction between who you are and who you're becoming. So breathe, steady your heart, and prepare to move. Not because you have all the answers, but because the voice that calls you is trustworthy. The same voice that sustained you in the valley will guide you on the mountaintop. This is your hour of decision, the moment when faith stops being a concept and becomes a covenant, when belief becomes movement, when calling becomes commitment, and when you decide, even quietly, the heavens will echo that agreement. The earth will align with your obedience. The atmosphere around you will shift to match your new direction. Pause here. Let your heart settle. You already know what the choice is that you've known for a while. This is not new, it's confirmation. Now, seal this moment with a declaration. Type it below as a sign of alignment, a phrase of agreement between your spirit and heaven's timing. Comment, I choose light. Simple, but sacred. Because when you choose light, you declare that darkness no longer defines you. You affirm that your past no longer holds authority over your future. You remind yourself and the universe that clarity, peace, and faith are your new direction. When you type it, don't do it as a reaction. Do it as an act of recognition. You are not just responding to a message, you are responding to destiny. This is not about social interaction, it's about spiritual activation. Every time you declare truth, you strengthen your alignment. Every word spoken in faith becomes an anchor in the unseen. So let this be more than words, let it be a moment that divides who you were from who you are becoming. This is the hour of decision, the moment where purpose demands movement. You've waited long enough. Now heaven waits for your yes. The time is now. Choose light and walk forward. Heaven watches in silence now. The hour of decision has passed, and the path ahead glows faintly with the light of your yes. But make no mistake, this next stretch is not for the faint of heart. Every chosen one reaches a point where words must become action, where faith must take form in discipline. This is that point. The book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1. Still speaks, we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily entangles, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. That race is not symbolic. It's the daily march of faith through a world designed to distract you. Heaven sees how easily the fire flickers when you grow weary, how often your spirit trembles when resistance comes. But this section is a call to strengthen your stance, to live as if the witnesses truly watch, because they do. You felt the pull of distraction again, haven't you? The whisper of old habits, the call of comfort, the invitation to quit quietly. These are not coincidences. They are snares dressed as soft choices. The enemy doesn't always shout. Sometimes he lulls you to sleep. That's why this part of the journey demands movement. Faith that stops walking begins dying. Purpose that hesitates begins decaying. The greatest danger for the chosen isn't failure, it's fatigue. Fatigue of faith, fatigue of focus, fatigue of obedience. The moment you stop pressing forward, the current of the world begins pulling you backward. And this is where the warning comes, not out of fear, but out of love. Because the danger of slowing down is real. When you resist growth, your heart begins to harden. When you delay what God told you to do, His voice begins to fade. It's not that He leaves, it's that your sensitivity dulls. There's a spiritual law at play: light ignored becomes darkness embraced. Every time you know what's right but delay it, a layer of shadow forms over your discernment. That's why Scripture says, "Today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your heart. Heaven's mercy is abundant, but mercy can only meet movement. If you've been living between I will and not yet, hear this clearly: hesitation is the breeding ground of regret. Many lose their call not because they rebel, but because they stall. You are one delay away from dullness, one repeated compromise away from confusion, one ignored prompting away from blindness. This is not a scare tactic, it's a spiritual reality. Heaven doesn't warn to punish, it warns to preserve. You're being awakened before complacency sets in. Because when chosen ones go silent, the light around them dimmed. And if you let that dimming continue too long, conviction turns into comfort, purpose turns into passivity, and your mission becomes memory. So here is your divine practice, your activation for this season. Wake up each morning and move. Even when you don't feel inspired, move. Even when faith feels thin, move. Write what God told you to build. Speak what He told you to say. Forgive who He told you to release. The smallest obedient step keeps the oil flowing. If you've fallen asleep spiritually, shake yourself awake. Routines without revelation lead to spiritual starvation. Don't live on yesterday's manna, it has expired. Ask for fresh instruction daily. Open your journal again. Return to the altar of your calling. The fire only dies when you stop feeding it. This is your spiritual workout, your endurance training. Heaven doesn't crown the fast, it crowns the faithful. Endurance is built one act of obedience at a time. Every yes you repeat sharpens your vision, fortifies your heart, and keeps you in alignment with the path ahead. And here's the truth: the longer you resist the call to move, the harder the next season becomes konin, because purpose neglected becomes pressure intensified. When you delay obedience, the weight doesn't disappear, it doubles. Heaven will never lower the standard to match your comfort. It will raise your capacity to meet your calling. You have to choose today to remain awake, to keep your oil filled, to keep the flame alive, because a generation waits for your obedience. Someone's deliverance is tied to your discipline. When you stop moving, they stop hearing the echo of hope meant to reach them through you. Think about it: if you quit now, how many destinies dim because your light went out too soon? How many prayers remain unanswered because the vessel carrying the answer gave up halfway? This isn't about guilt, it's about gravity. Your yes carries weight beyond what you can see. So keep running. Even when you stumble, keep running. Even when the crowd disappears, keep running. You are surrounded by witnesses who didn't quit. Their strength flows through you now. Heaven's eyes are on this generation, waiting to see who will endure. This is not the time to retreat. This is the moment to reset, to rise again, to remember that the finish line doesn't appear until the faithful arrive. Now stand up in your spirit, straighten your shoulders, take a deep breath. You've come too far to fall asleep now. Heaven is counting on your motion. And when doubt whispers, when the weight feels too heavy, remind yourself you are not running alone. You are running watched, guided, and carried. The fire that began in you was never meant to die in hesitation. You know what to do. The next move belongs to you. You've walked through the breaking, survived the wilderness, endured the testing, and kept your faith through the battle. Now, you are no longer who you once were. Something in your spirit has changed shape, quieter, deeper, stronger. You carry the fragrance of fire, but also the glow of glory. This is the crown through the fire. It is declared in the first book of Peter, chapter 1 on verse 7, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ. That verse reveals the mystery you've been living through. The fire wasn't sent to destroy you, it was sent to prove the worth of your faith. The testing didn't come to expose weakness, but to reveal endurance. You are the living evidence that faith refined by flame becomes radiant and unbreakable. Now you stand radiant, though you may not yet see it. Heaven sees the light shimmering through the cracks. The very places where you once broke are now the places where light escapes. That's what makes you powerful, not perfection, but transparency. You've been crowned through endurance, not a crown of comfort, but of calling. It's invisible to the eye, but undeniable in the spirit. Every time you kept going when quitting felt easier, another gem was added to your crown. Every time you chose peace over pride, heaven recorded it as victory. Every time you forgave instead of fought back, your crown grew brighter. You are walking proof that what the fire meant to destroy, God used to define, and now others will find warmth from the glow you carry. That's why your story matters. It's not about what you survived, it's about what you've become because of it. If these words resonate with the rhythm of your heart, pause here for a moment. Breathe. Let the weight of it sink in. This is not just encouragement, it's recognition. Heaven acknowledges endurance. And if this message meets you where you are, let gratitude be your first response. Hit the like button, not as habit, but as worship. Each like is a quiet thank you whispered upward, a digital amen that says, I see what you've done in me. When you share this message, you're not promoting a voice, you're spreading light. Think of it like tossing a spark into another person's night. Someone scrolling in silence might see your share and find the courage to rise again. That's how light multiplies. It travels through willing hands. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider it not as following a page, but as walking alongside a purpose. Each message builds upon the last like steps on a staircase together. They carry you higher. Staying connected ensures you don't miss the next wave of revelation that heaven is pouring out through this space. And if your spirit feels stirred to give, to sow into what's feeding your soul, do it not from pressure, but from partnership. Every seed sustains the flame. Just as oil keeps a lamp burning through the night, your generosity fuels the fire that keeps these messages alive, reaching more hearts across unseen borders. This isn't about transaction, it's about transformation. When you pour into light, light pours back into you. That's a spiritual law no algorithm can break. You're not donating, you're participating in the flow of divine exchange. Because what we're building here is not a channel, it's an altar, a place where words become waves of restoration, where faith finds its echo. And every person who touches this space, whether by viewing, liking, sharing, or giving, becomes part of that sacred rhythm. When you comment, you leave a testimony trail. Someone wandering might read your words and realize they're not alone. So comment below, share what this fire taught you, or simply type, I made it through. Your story might be the key that unlocks someone else's healing. You are not just a listener, you are a builder. Together, We're crafting a constellation of hope across the dark skies of this world, each interaction a small star that keeps the night from swallowing the day. Your presence matters more than you realize. Every small act, your watch, your words. Your giving is fuel for the mission. Because this isn't about one voice speaking. It's about a multitude rising. So let this message be your mirror and your mantle. You wear your scars like armor now. You walk with fire in your lungs and light in your eyes. You've been through what should have broken you, but instead, it crowned you. The flames did not burn you. They branded you with purpose. And that purpose is bigger than you. It's for everyone you will touch from this moment forward. So rise, shine, carry your crown with quiet strength. The world may never see the full story of your survival, but heaven has already written it in gold. And as you move from this moment, may your steps remind you the fire didn't end you, it refined you. The crown isn't a reward, it's recognition. You didn't just walk through flames, you walked into fullness. Now wear your crown and let your light tell the rest of the story. And now, beloved soul, we reach the edge of words, the place where silence takes over and revelation becomes personal. Everything you've read, everything whispered through these lines was never meant to end here. It was meant to continue through you. If these words have helped you see your journey more clearly, share them. Let the light that touched you ripple outward. Somewhere. Someone needs the reminder that they are not alone in the fire. But if you choose not to share, that's all right too. Hold close the line, the phrase, the single heartbeat that spoke to you. Let it become your quiet prayer, your secret fire, your seed of transformation. Every message doesn't need to be spread, some need to be lived. Carry what is yours, release what is not, and keep walking toward the light that never goes out.